There are many great SSR characters in Black Clover Mobile, but which are the top 5 best in the game? Well, let's find out. Coming in at number 5 is the best supportive tank in the game, Radius Spirito, as thanks to his amazing barrier he applies to himself and his allies, as well as being able to give him his teammates defense, damage resistance increases, endurance increases, and also debuff immunity, he can allow his teammates to take virtually 0 damage in a lot of PvE game modes and even in a lot of your arena matches. Not to mention, he has some of the best stats in the entire game and has some of the highest base amount of combat class in the game as well, thanks to his extremely high HP and defense stats. Then, not to mention, he also has, a really great unique passive which makes himself 7 points faster, which makes him have a total of 107 speed, making his speed be on par with the likes of Nozel, Lotus, and Rill. And it's thanks to this speed that he can apply all of his great buffs to his allies as soon as possible, and when you pair him up with the likes of speed gears or whatever, you can actually end up outspeeding a lot of these debuffers. But what I will say is that, although he's very good at supporting his team, he doesn't really have the capabilities to do any harm to the enemy with any debuffs, as he only has the likes of poison and taunt on his combined attack. Then at number 4, we have Swimsuit Ghosh, who has been nothing short of amazing ever since he released with the Season 2 banner, as he is probably the most universal support in the game, as he can be run with literally any DPS character. This is thanks to his, all attack buff that he can apply to your allies, whereas, other supports like Valtos or Vengeance, etc., they can only, they're only really great with, either regular attackers or magic attackers in specifics. He can also provide a party-wide damage reduction to all of his allies, whilst also being the first character in the game to be able to apply permanent non-removable buffs, which also gives him the edge over other supporters, as some of the value he provides is guaranteed due to his non-removable intense sunlight buff, making him the 4th best character. So into the top 3 now, and the 3rd best character in my opinion in the game is Lotus Womols. Now, I think that's how you say it, and he's probably my favourite character in the game at the moment, as he is the ultimate debuffer, as he just has so much utility with his debuffs and damage. He's just so good. So to start with, I guess his best part of his kit is his united attack with Mars, and honestly it's just way too good, I'll be honest, as it guarantees you a level 3 speed lower, which he doesn't get on his ultimate, making it more valuable, as guaranteed value is the way to go. But his ultimate is still great, as it can also apply a level 3 speed drop as well, but it's all on a chance based thing, as well as an incapacitate debuff as well, and can remove enemy buffs as well. Not to mention, for a debuffer, his offensive stats are just off the charts, as most debuffers don't have the craziest offensive stats, but they have really good stats, as he has a higher attack and magic attack than Licked, which is crazy, as he's an attacker and a crazy damage dealer, which just shows how cracked Lotus really is. Then finally, the fact that he can do AoE damage on his skill 1 as well, whilst also decreasing enemy stamina as well, just honestly makes him a must-have for your account, and honestly one of the characters you should definitely look for when you reroll on your global accounts. Next up is the other half of the United Attack combo, which is Mars, and I know a lot of people are going to be questioning me on how Mars is above Lotus and whatnot, because I feel like a lot of people would probably feel like Lotus is better than Mars, but I'll be honest, in my opinion, I think Mars is just way more consistent, as especially when used him and Lotus so much in this game, and I feel like in all forms of content, it feels like if you're gonna run Lotus, it almost feels like you have to run Mars alongside him so you can get the guaranteed value of the speed drop with a united attack, whereas with Mars that's not necessarily the case, as he doesn't need the united attack with Lotus in order for him to pop off, as with Mars he has really good parts of his kit, just like obviously Lotus does as well, but his combined attack, which can have up to a 50% chance to stun on an AoE, is absolutely broken. Once you get that to level 5, you're gonna stun like crazy, and this is, I believe, the highest chance of stunning on an AoE, meaning it's better than Rills, it's better than anybody else that can stun. And this combined attack has great synergy with the second skill, which can also stun on a single target, which has up to a 60% chance of stunning, and can reduce their defense if they are already under the effects of a stun, which is honestly absolutely insane. And his skill 1 is it's just really amazing, as it can have up to an 80% chance for him to taunt it on a single target, which is a great way of nullifying any single target damage dealer in arena, PvE, like the Hall of Memory thing, whatever you want to call it. Is so good, as no matter, it doesn't even matter what typing they are, like if they're a DPS and they're taunted by Mars, they're not killing him, it's going to be very hard to kill him, because especially if you have a healer as well, because yeah, he just soaks up so much damage no matter matter what the typing is, and which is why for me he's the second best character in the game. And then he also has a great ultimate as well, which just gives himself Fortify, which is just damage reduction, and also, you know, can extend enemy debuff durations, which is so good when paired, you know, with, again, the likes of Lotus, making them a great pairing, which I guess is why, you know, they are both so close together in the rankings. So before we get into who is the best character in the game, I wanted to show you all some honourable mentions, which are characters who are also top tier, but couldn't quite make it into the top 5, but I thought, you know, deserved just at least a mention. So to start off with, we have the Season 1 Mimosa, who is a really great healer who can keep your team alive, and is actually very useful with her reviver, especially when she's used in the Hall of Illusions, which I believe is what it's called, as now there are even harder stages for you to play in that game mode that have been added. She is going to be very great for a lot of those stages. Then we have Season 1 Yami and Asta, who I've put together, you know, as I feel like, you know, they do pretty similar things, as in PvP they are both really good now, and probably better than they were before, simply because of the fact that they can remove barriers, making them a counter to the brand new Season 2 Noelle. And for me, Yami especially is really great at the moment, because not only can he remove barriers, he can also take away Noelle's skill points. And the reason why this is so these two characters are really good right now is because a lot of the time you'll see a lot of people run like either like Sally, Valtos, Gauche, or even all of them with Noelle, because what you can do with those characters is you can just stack a load of magic attack on her, and then when she uses her barrier, because it creates the barrier based off of her magic attack, then the barrier is just going to be absolutely massive. So just being able to completely delete it with their combined attacks of removing barriers is going to make them very good and very valuable in PvP. And also, you know, they're both really great PvE characters as well. Yami's so great for gear farming. He's got really great damage. He's so good. Can stop bosses from ulting, can stop enemies from healing. He's very good. And then Arstic is just a DPS machine still. And yeah, they're both just honestly so good. Then finally, the best character in Black Clover Mobile, to nobody's surprise, is Swimsuit Noelle, as she is pretty much a defender, supporter, damage dealer, all in one, and, you know, can also do a little bit of healing as well. And as, you know, this is all because of her skill 2, which, you know, it gives allies increased type advantage damage, a barrier that can soak up probably too much damage, if I'm being honest, especially if you run it with someone like Gauche, Sally, Valtos, as, you know, they can increase her magic attack, which can increase the strength of the barrier even more, making your teams pretty much invincible. And then we're not even done yet with the skill 2, as she can also give either herself or any ally on your team a counter attack as well. And then not to mention, she has the hardest hitting ultimate in the game, to my knowledge. Maybe someone like Solid Silver could end up hitting more, I don't know, but yeah, to my knowledge, she has the hardest hitting ultimate in the game. It does so much damage, gives you a magic attack increase before you attack and also after you attack as well, meaning you can do bonus damage with her skill 1, which is probably also the highest damage you can perform on any skill 1 in the game. Probably has way more than Yami, I think. And she's, not to mention, she is the second fastest attacker in the game, just behind Season 1 Asta, with 106 speed. And also she has the second highest magic attack in the game, just behind Fana and Leopold. But with her unique passive, which gives her a 10% increase in magic attack, I believe, she can become the highest in the game, making her realistically the best character in Black Clover Mobile right now, and is probably the only character you're going to want for, you know, on global. I'd say Lotus, Mars, and Noelle are some of the best for sure. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 characters in Black Clover Mobile. So make sure you let me know your thoughts of my top 5 in the comments below, as I'll be reading them all. And you can even leave your own top 5s in the comments if you want as well, because I'll be reading those as well, and I'll even be replying to them as well. And if you liked the video, most importantly, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace!